Thank you for joining us for Social Security Frequently Asked Questions. My name is Amanda, and I am the Assistant Director of the Center for Urban and Regional Excellence at IU Northwest. With us today are Daniel Summer and Josephine Mueller, Public Affairs Specialist with the Social Security Administration. Daniel and Josephine, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Amanda. It's great to be here once again. IU Northwest being my alma mater, it's a special place to me. So I'm just so excited that here, as a representative and public affairs specialist for Social Security and the Social Security Administration in the Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana areas, that I'm able to talk directly to you. And guess what? I won't be talking directly to you alone. I'll be answering questions that were presented to us from the public. So Josephine, anything to add before we begin on our frequently asked questions?
Oh, I'm so excited to be here with all of you today. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy schedule, out of your busy day to watch us here today and learn about Social Security's benefits and programs and listen to some of the frequently asked questions that we receive. And my name is Josephine Mueller. I am also a public affairs specialist, as is Mr. Daniel Summer. And we are individuals who provide information to the public, to our communities, and let people know about all of the benefits and programs that Social Security has to offer. So we're super excited to be here with all of you today. But before we go forward, we do have to provide our disclosure. Participation in this presentation does not constitute an endorsement by the Social Security Administration or its employees of the organizations and information and products not provided by Social Security Administration. Daniel?
Thank you, Josephine. So here we are, live on Facebook, and we are here to answer those questions you ask. Sometimes the questions are about Social Security cards. Sometimes they're about retirement for our seniors. Sometimes we have questions about payees and whatnot. So if it is Social Security, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about disability. We'll talk about SSI. Anything you want. And normally, Josephine, I get those questions that begin, "Dear Mr. Social Security." But guess what? I'm not the only Mr. Social Security, and Josephine can answer questions about her specializations as well. So I'm ready to get us started. And I think that the best thing to do on a Facebook Live is to start off with you, Josephine. And I think I should read the first question to you, and we'll just move from there. All right. So often we get questions that are about what it is that Social Security offers. And FICA happens to be one of those questions. People get their checks, their paychecks, Josephine, and they ask a two-word question when they see that there's a deduction. What's FICA? And what would that have to do with Social Security?
That's a great question, Daniel, because I know that was a question I had when I first started working. I started working when I was 15, and I saw that there was FICA being deducted from my paycheck. And so I saw that there was less amount than what I had calculated to be on my paycheck or for me to be receiving, because of course at 15, you're so eager to purchase those back to school clothes and back to school shoes. And so I put in a complaint. I put in a complaint to my mom, and I was like, "Mom, who is this FICA and why is FICA taking my money?" And at the time my mom told me, "Well, Josephine, it's because you're paying into Social Security for later on when you retire." And at 15, that seems like such a long ways away. So I was like, "Do I have to do this, Mom?" Because that was a follow-up question. What is FICA and do I have to do this? And so she's like, "Yes, it's automatic, Josephine. You have to, it has to happen. It's part of the program." So FICA is a U.S. federal payroll tax that's deducted from each of our paychecks. It stands for the Federal Insurance Contributions Act, and the total deducted is 7.65%. Your employer matches this for a total of 15.3%. It helps fund both Social Security and Medicare programs, which provide benefits for retirees, individuals who become disabled, as well as children, survivors, spouses. So there's lots of benefits that come from paying into FICA. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that today throughout our frequently asked questions. So thank you for that question, Mr. Daniel Summer. FICA is the foundation to Social Security. So it's important that we address this at the very beginning of this presentation.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more because it is the foundation upon which Social Security is built. And just remember, when you have Social Security, it's not just you're paying into something hoping to get something later. There are contributions that you make and contributions that your employer makes. So that sweetens the pot a little bit. It's almost like if I'm putting something in my pocket, someone else is putting some portion of it there, all for my security. This is the great program that began in the 1930s. 1935 was actually the Social Security Act, and that has brought a whole new level of security for individuals who are retired or disabled so that our people in America will not be suffering from poverty when they're older or if they find themselves to be disabled. Great, great question.
Yes.
Great.
Now, Daniel, I have a question for you. And I know we mentioned early on that when we're paying into FICA taxes, there's also additional benefits other than retirement, such as survivor's benefits, spousal benefits, disability benefits. And there's SSI benefits as well for individuals who are not paid into Social Security, because Social Security is there for you even if you have not fully paid into Social Security. But before we get into the other programs, let's talk a little bit more about retirement benefits, because this is another question that we receive quite frequently in regards to Social Security retirement benefits. How do you qualify for retirement benefits? How does this happen? And a lot of people have this question. So, and I know you, Mr. Summer, have the answer to this question.
For sure, but unfortunately, even though we're Facebook Live, it's a four-letter word, Josephine. It's work. And that's right. If you work and you pay FICA taxes, not all jobs do, but the overwhelming majority do, then you can qualify for retirement benefits by earning credits when you work. You pay those FICA taxes. That's the source. Now you need 40 credits, and that's about 10 years worth of work. Why does it work out to be 10 years? I'm no math major, but here's why. Because $1,470 in earnings is one credit worth of work. Now, the most someone can receive in 1 year are 4 credits worth of work, because there are 4 quarters. Now, even if a person earned $5,880 on the first day of the year, they've locked in 4 quarters for themselves for that year. They can't earn any more until next year, but never you mind. It's fine, because they have just done as much as they could do for Social Security purposes. You qualify by working, and then you wait. And when you're 62 or whatever age you decide to take retirement benefits at, wow, you're now eligible based on your work and earnings but age. But there are so many advantages to working under Social Security. If a person became disabled along the way, guess what? There'd be something there for them. If they got married along the way, perhaps their spouse could draw a benefit, or their children in many circumstances. And if someone meets that untimely fate, guess what? Your survivors can get benefits. So qualifying for retirement benefits by working has more advantages than just retirement. You secure your whole family, yourself, your spouse, your children in the event of disability, retirement, or the unfortunate loss of life. So Social Security is that program. Josephine?
Absolutely. And I'm so glad that you mentioned that when we're paying into Social Security benefits, we're not only paying into it for retirement benefits. As my mother mentioned to me earlier on, at the time, that was her understanding, that it was for Social Security retirement benefits. However, there's so many more benefits that are involved when you're paying into FICA taxes. But another great question that we receive quite often, and I know you receive it as well, Daniel, all the time: how does Social Security determine our benefits? My mom receives this amount, my sister receives that amount, my brother receives that amount, my neighbor receives another amount. How is this happening? How is this possible? And I know I gave you the other question, Daniel, but I know you're eager to answer this one, because you want to let the public know, you want to let our viewers know how this happens, why my benefit is going to be different than your benefit, Daniel.
Well, because you're much more wealthy than I am, Josephine. I think that's the answer. But here we get into the science. And not being a math major, I still can answer this question because how Social Security determines your benefit is part of the beauty of this program. Now, benefits are based on earnings. That sounds pretty simple. But guess what? Unlike practically every other agency, unlike practically every other person, place, or thing, Social Security is trying to give you a higher benefit as opposed to a lower one. And when we look at this, the steps are 1, 2, 3. First, your wages are adjusted for changes in wage levels over time. What does that mean? Here it is. Let's just say that I borrowed $20 from you, Josephine, and the year is, I don't know, 2001. I ask you for $20 because I'm running short, and you look at me and say, oh, okay. So you loan me $20. Well, guess what? What if I decide, hey, I got 20 bucks. I'm going to escape. And you call me sometimes to ask me, hey, where's my $20? A year later, 2 years later, I see your car at the grocery store and I peel off. I'm not giving back that $20. 3 years later, I'm ducking you. I'm behind the cereal in that same grocery store where we shop. I'm avoiding you at every turn. If I see you on my caller ID, I let it go to voicemail. Text messages, blocked. Facebook, blocked. But guess what? You finally catch me in 2021 and say, hey, you owe me $20. If I were to pay you back that $20 a full 20 years later, guess what? The price of gas has likely gone up. The price of cereal that I was dodging behind. The cost of living has gone up. This is why step 1 is so important. Even if you made the money in 1970 or 50, your wages are adjusted for changes in wage levels over time. So Social Security isn't just paying you back. We are making sure that the payments are commensurate with today's wages and cost of living. So we move to step 2. What we do is we take all of your wages, we lay them out, and we inflate them to today's wages because of, well, what I just explained to you. And we find the monthly average, but not of them all. We cherry pick the highest 35 years, Josephine. So we're going to give you a higher than average amount. So Social Security is being quite generous. And then the result is the average indexed monthly earnings. And from that number, we determine how much you're paid each month. Now that sounds like a lot, but it makes a lot of sense, especially when we're trying to adjust your highest earnings years. It's a great program. That's a great question. And that is how Social Security determines your benefit. Josephine?
Wow, that's great information to know, because a lot of times people come to us and they ask us, well, you know, I thought it was the last 5 years, or I thought it was the last 10 years of my earnings that were used to calculate my monthly Social Security retirement benefit. But you mentioned that it's the highest 35 years of your work earnings. So it's important to note that those 35 years don't have to be consecutive. They don't have to be the most recent. They can be at any point in your work history. We pull out the highest 35 years of your work earnings to calculate your monthly Social Security benefit. So that's so important to know. And
there's a question.
So thank you for that.
And I just have to give this one to you because this is something that a lot of people struggle with. Should I retire now at 62, the earliest point? How about I wait till 63 or 64, 66, 70? We hear the Susie Ormans of the world telling people to wait to this point, someone else says wait to that point. That's all confusing. So I'm going to ask you the $1 million question, Josephine. What is the best age?
Yes, and you're right about that. This is that $1 million question, Mr. Summer. And the question is what is the best age to start receiving Social Security retirement benefits? We're asked this all the time. And as much as here at Social Security, all of our representatives would love to answer that question for you directly, we're unable to give you a direct answer as far as when it's best for you to start drawing your Social Security retirement benefits. But what we can provide you with is your options. So right here in this chart, it's a nice illustration of the growth of your benefit over time, or an example of someone's benefit over time. In this example right here, this individual is full retirement age at age 66. Now, each one of our full retirement ages are different. It all depends on what year we were born. But for this example, this person here is full retirement age at age 66. Now, remember I mentioned here that we're not able to give you an exact age when it's best for you to start drawing your monthly Social Security retirement benefits. And the reason for that is because every person's individual situation is different. It's based off of your financial situation, based off of your personal health history, your family health history, the longevity in your family. There's so many different factors that you must consider when making this very important decision as far as when to draw Social Security retirement benefits. And, you know, we wouldn't know all of that information. So it's so important to review your personal situation, your history, and then make that decision based on all of those other factors as well. But in this chart right here, it shows the growth, the progression of growth in somebody's benefit over time. The earliest that anyone can draw Social Security retirement benefits is at age 62. That's the earliest to draw Social Security retirement benefits, age 62. And the latest that you can draw benefits is at age 70. And that's when you have you start to receive delayed Social Security retirement credits after age 66. So at age 70, that's the maximum benefit that anyone can receive, age 70. And at full retirement age, whatever that age may be for you, here this person's full retirement age is 66. They're eligible for $1,000 a month at full retirement age. That means that they receive 100% of their benefit. So any growth after that is over 100% that person receives. Now, as you can see, it grows every year, and it actually grows month by month, the benefit. So the longer you wait, the higher your benefit grows. But keep in mind, it may be best for somebody to draw benefits early at age 62, depending on what their situation is, or it may be best for somebody to wait all the way until age 70, depending on what their situation is. It's a personal decision, a personal choice based off of your situation. But this is a great question, Daniel, and I'm so glad that you asked it. But now I want to ask you something. When is somebody's full retirement age, depending on what years of birth? What is this? What our viewers are probably wondering, well, I was born in 1977. What is my full retirement age? Can you give us what those dates are?
Oh, wow. Well, they're right here on the chart, because everyone who wants to know that the answer to that $1 million question, what's the best age to retire? One of the things they're going to want to know is, when is their full retirement age? That may or may not be the best age, but let's take a look. If someone was born 1943 to 1954, it's pretty simple. It's 66. Now, after that, things start getting a little more nuanced. People born in 55 are 66 and 2 months to get their full benefit at their full retirement age. 56 adds 2 more months to that, 66 and 4 months. 1957, they are 66 and 6 months is your full retirement age. And if you were born in 1958, 66 and 8 months. In 1959, 66 and 10 months. And finally, for all individuals born in 1960 or later, your full retirement age is 67 years of age. And at that time, you get your full benefit at full retirement age. Anything beyond that, you can get an increase of 8% per year. Josephine?
That's great information, because many of our viewers out there may be wondering, well, when is my full retirement age? When can I receive 100% of my benefit? Because once again, full retirement age, that's when you receive 100% of your benefit. So it's a very interesting topic, interesting information, where many of us are preparing for our future, because once again, it's never too early to start preparing for your future. So your full retirement age is right here in this chart, and now you have it. And of course, this information is also on our website. If you visit us at socialsecurity.gov, you can find everything that we've gone over today with you all here on our website at socialsecurity.gov. But here is a retirement FAQ. And I'm going to ask this one to you, Mr. Summer, because I know that you receive this one quite often, and you want our viewers to know this very important information. I want to get my Social Security by paper check. Can I receive my benefit by paper check?
Ah, very interesting. You know, there were many years ago, a paper check was the only way that they were issued. But times have changed. And for security purposes, Social Security checks are largely electronically directly deposited. And here's why. There's no way that the burglar can reach into your mailbox and get your check when they know when you're getting your benefits. Also, Social Security has, for security purposes, not only decided to directly deposit the overwhelming majority of checks, there is something else that's an electronic debit card that's called a direct express card, upon which people can have their benefits paid to them that way. But a paper check is a very special situation. There would have to be a very good reason. And I know some people don't like to let go of old habits. I had an 85-year-old woman who said to me once, Josephine, I've got to see that paper check. Well, you know what? Even paper checks can be forged or not real. So it doesn't offer you any more security. In fact, it offers you less. So if there is a situation in which someone has to have a paper check, it's not up to us to decide. We must communicate that reason with the Department of the Treasury, and we'll send it to them and see if you can still get a paper check. But I tell you what, I strongly encourage people to use either direct deposit or a direct express card, because on those cold winter days when you don't want to trudge out and get your feet wet to go cash a paper check or stand in line when it's 5 below and you're shivering, why not just either look on your computer or call the phone number, know that your money's there, hang up, roll over, and go back to sleep? So yes, the answer is you can receive a benefit by paper check, but we'd have to have a pretty darn good reason for it. Anything to add, Josephine?
Absolutely. You're right about that, Mr. Summer. And, if you are ever interested in changing your banking account information, if you do have your check going direct deposit, you can always contact us. We can update that information via phone, or you can update that information via internet if you have a My Social Security account. If you have a My Social Security account, you're able to update banking information in there. And a little bit later on, we're going to talk about the My Social Security account and how to create one, because that My Social Security account is the window to your information, and it's secure, and you're able to access a lot of the information, some of the information that we can see, and a lot of the transactions that you would do with us in our office, you can actually do online in the comfort of your own home. Daniel?
Very, very true. But now we're going to move on because, we've talked a lot about retirement benefits, but Social Security is more than just retirement. We deal with everything from Social Security cards and enumeration at birth. So to begin the next segment of questions, guess what? Let's talk about the Social Security card. And this question, Josephine, is for you. Aha. Says reader, I memorized my Social Security number a long time ago. Now that I do not know where my card is, do I even need to order another one? So what is more important, the number or the card?
That is a great question, Daniel. And many times, people do ask the question, what is more important, the number or the card? And sometimes, actually, a lot of times, you don't necessarily need the card if you know the number. However, if you do need the card, you can always request a replacement Social Security card. And you can request a replacement Social Security card right now by sending us a completed replacement Social Security card application via mail to your local Social Security field office, along with your identity documents, your proofs. And a list of those proofs are on our website at socialsecurity.gov. So you can go to our website, ssa.gov, and you can look up what those identity documents are. And you can also request a replacement Social Security card online via your My Social Security account. So if you create a My Social Security account, you can certainly request a card online. But many instances, you don't necessarily need the physical card. Many times, as long as you know your number, that will suffice. However, if you do need the physical card and say you do not have the physical card with you, maybe you're like me where you put it somewhere super safe and you just can't remember where that super safe place is, because I do that all the time. So if you need a replacement card, please feel free to reach out to us. You can always send the application via mail to your local Social Security field office, along with the identity documents that are required in order to request a replacement Social Security card, or you can request a replacement Social Security card in the comfort of your own home if you create a My Social Security account. Daniel?
Great. When you protect your number and protect your card, you protect your identity. And by filing and registering at mysocialsecurity.gov, making that account also gives you another level of security, because only one account can be in your name, and you want to be the person to control it. Great, great question. Loved the answer. Thank you very much, Josephine.
But now I have one for you, Daniel, and I know you are the guru in regards to information on disability benefits and SSI. So what is the difference between Social Security disability benefits and SSI? What are these programs?
Wow, my two favorite programs in all of Social Security. You know, Social Security doesn't just protect people at retirement. 1 in 3 people become disabled at some point during their work life. Think about that. 1 in 3, a third of the workforce. Sometimes those disabilities are temporary, sometimes they're permanent. But nevertheless, we at Social Security are here for you throughout life's journey to protect you, even if you become disabled. And the two programs are disability and SSI. So what's the big difference between them? Well, remember when you were talking about paying FICA taxes? Well, you're paying right into the disability program, because this works like an insurance. You pay into it, of course, just like you do your car insurance, hoping that no accident happens, right? But those FICA taxes not only protect you when you retire, but during the course of your work, if you become disabled. Now, just like the amount that you get when you retire is dependent upon how much you've paid in, your earnings and wages affect your disability amount. And here's the great part about it. Sometimes people think, well, if I file for disability, I'll get less. But you know what? Disability is such a great program that it pays you as if you were all the way at full retirement age, even if you're 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So it's a great way to secure your future by paying those FICA taxes into Social Security and protecting your family, because children, spouses, they sometimes get benefits because a person's on disability. Now, that's the first program. You pay into it, it works kind of like unemployment, and the amount that you pay in is related to the amount that you get back. But we know that some people don't necessarily get to work and pay into disability. What if someone becomes disabled very young, say as a child or when they're just 18? Or how about a person who's a homemaker, who they might not have been paying FICA taxes, but they sure were working in the house? Well, we don't leave them out either. Supplemental security income is for individuals who are both low income and find themselves disabled. So SSI is available to persons who find themselves in that situation and meet the criteria. Another thing about SSI, though, there's a group of people who don't even have to be disabled to get SSI, Josephine. Those are our seniors. If our seniors are low income, if you're 65 or you know someone who's 65, even if they get retirement or some other form of income, but you think maybe it's not just enough, I encourage you to contact Social Security, because supplemental security income can supplement what it is they already have. Just remember, from the earliest days during the Franklin Roosevelt administration until now, Josephine, the goal of the Social Security Administration has always been to make sure that the poor, the orphaned, the disabled are not living and passing away in or because of poverty. And again, the Social Security programs lift millions out of poverty each year. So there you have it. Disabilities based on work and earnings. SSI is a needs-based program. Josephine?
Wow, that's a lot of great information, Daniel. And as you were talking about the two programs, I started to think, Social Security truly is with you throughout life's journey, because Social Security can apply to us at any age, so from birth until, retirement age, Social Security is with us. And these programs are available to us if at any age. So if I were to become disabled right now, even though I'm not full retirement age yet, I'm not even close to retirement age, if I were to become disabled right now, I could draw Social Security disability benefits and receive the amount that I would have received at full retirement age. And I think that's so important that you pointed that out, because Social Security, at that point, you don't receive a reduced amount. So we were talking about retirement benefits earlier, and how if you draw Social Security retirement benefits early at age 62 or any time prior to your full retirement age, your benefit is reduced due to age. You don't receive that 100%. But if someone were to become disabled earlier on in life, at any age prior to their full retirement age, if they were to become disabled, they receive 100% of their benefit, even though they're not anywhere near full retirement age. And you also mentioned SSI, which is a needs-based program for individuals with limited income and resources. And you mentioned how if somebody has not paid into the system, has not paid into FICA taxes, they can still draw benefits because there's still a program out there for them. And I think this is so important for our viewers to know this. And at any age, this can apply to all of us. So I'm so glad that we're here today and we've been invited here to provide information to our viewers, because this is information for everyone. But I want to move on to the next slide here, because this next slide, it elaborates a little bit more on what you were talking about, Mr. Summer. And I'm going to go ahead and hand it back over to you to elaborate a little bit more on Social Security disability insurance.
Oh, I'd be happy to. Here it is. So who are the people who generally will get disability? Well, let's see. If you are in a situation where you're no longer able to perform substantial work activity due to an illness, injury, condition, or some combination of conditions. I mean, it could be physical, mental, emotional, psychological, or some combination. Those medical conditions are interfering with your ability to work what we call substantially, and that is a dollar figure attached to that. And those conditions are expected to last a year or longer or result in death, and you're younger than full retirement age, it's quite possible that you could receive Social Security disability. The same criteria, however, goes for people who are receiving SSI, that illness, injury, or condition or combination of conditions are medically evaluated. And when you apply, we'll take care of the rest. If you are eligible, we'll tell you. If you're not, and you believe that you should be, you'll have the right to appeal. But remember, contacting Social Security at the earliest point in which you believe that you may be disabled or unable to work substantially. And sometimes people are still working when they begin applying for and receiving disability or SSI. For more information, go to socialsecurity.gov, gov as in government. Josephine?
Thank you for that, Daniel. So this is how somebody can qualify for Social Security disability benefits, because there are certain criteria in order to qualify for Social Security disability benefits. And right here, this figure, substantial gainful activity, the SGA limit for this year in 2021 is $1,310 per month. And that's the gross amount. So if somebody is earning under that amount gross, then they may be eligible for Social Security disability benefits, because the person is not earning less than the substantial gainful activity amount, the SGA amount.
But even if someone's earning that, Josephine, we don't want that to stop them from applying, because there are many situations in which we don't count portions of their income, and people who are earning over that still can potentially receive disability. SSI, the sister program for individuals who are disabled. Again, it provides monthly payments for individuals who find themselves disabled as well. However, they have to have limited income and few resources. What do I mean by that? What I mean is those individuals simply can't have tons and tons of money in the bank, multiple vehicles, etc., because they may not qualify, not on a medical, but on a non-medical basis. But guess what? We don't count everything there either. So keep in mind, the other program you pay into, like you do unemployment, SSI is assistance, and we are responsible with the way that we give out assistance. So think of the other one as working more like unemployment, and this working more like TANF for food stamps. We evaluate different things. With disability, you could have $1 million in the bank. It doesn't matter. But that wouldn't mean that you would qualify for SSI, even with the same condition, because we have to be fiscally responsible. And always remember, those seniors who are 65 or older, who are blind or have disability, but seniors who are not disabled, I want to be very clear. Seniors who are not disabled can still potentially receive benefits. If you're younger than 65, you have to be disabled to receive SSI, whether you're a child or an adult. But if you're 65 or older, you just need to have low income and resources. Contact the Social Security Administration for more details. Josephine?
That's great to know, Mr. Summer. So if let's fast forward the clock, let's fast forward time. If I were to be 65 right now and say I didn't pay into FICA taxes, or maybe I did, maybe I paid 1 year, I worked 1 year, I worked 2 years, but it's just not enough to get Social Security disability benefits or retirement benefits. And I'm 65 years old right now, and I don't qualify for either of those programs. There's still a program for me, which is SSI. As you mentioned, I'm 65. I don't have to be disabled in order to qualify for SSI. As long as I'm age 65 and I have limited resources and income, I may be eligible for SSI, supplemental security income. There is a program that still can help me. And that's great information. And it's so important for our viewers to know this.
SSI is a lifeline, Josephine, to individuals. And remember, if people have some income, they may get some SSI. The higher their income, the less they would get. And the lower their income, the more assistance we would try to pay them. So keep in mind, we are with you, even in times of economic hardship. Great information there, Josephine. But guess what? The worm is turned, because disability and SSI are pretty important things. Let's find out about this. A question. I just turned 62 and I've received SSI since my illness at age 50. I was looking at my amount of retirement money I will get from Social Security at age 62, and I've decided to wait until I am 66 at my full retirement age to file. Can I do this?
Wow, this is a great question, because this right here is a combination question. It's an individual who is receiving benefits. They just turned age 62. They're receiving SSI benefits since they were age 50. And now they're turning age 62, and they may be eligible for Social Security retirement benefits. But they're asking if they can wait, if they can delay taking those Social Security retirement benefits and continue to be on the SSI benefit and hold off on the retirement benefit and earn delayed credits, or let that benefit grow. And unfortunately for this question, the individual is not going to be able to do that, because they are receiving SSI, supplemental security income, which is a needs-based program. And if they become eligible for any other programs, they must apply for all other benefits they are eligible for. So if this individual has become eligible for retirement benefits at age 62, what we will do is we will look to see how much that amount is. They will apply for Social Security retirement benefits. And if they still qualify for SSI, they may be able to receive both. And I know you're an expert in SSI, Daniel, and you've seen several of these cases where individuals qualify for both. Can you give us an example of that?
Oh, I sure can. I had a gentleman who came in and he had made this exact statement. I looked at the difference between the money I get, because I'm getting SSI now and I'm turning 62. I think it would be a better financial decision if I just stayed on SSI and waited till I was 66. But remember that part where I said that we're financially and fiscally responsible with SSI and all the benefits from Social Security? Well, if you're receiving assistance and there's something else that you can receive that is not assistance, in order to continue to qualify for SSI, you must take those benefits. And the gentleman who was very nice later understood that the difference between SSI and retirement means that when you can get off assistance by getting on your own benefits, then you must do it or the SSI stops. That was a great question, and you gave an excellent answer. So thank you, Josephine. Really happy.
Thank you for your example, Mr. Summer. You always have these wonderful examples that really help illustrate how these benefits work. But I have a question for you. I have a serious kidney disease. I got approved for disability in my first try. Once you are found to be disabled, do you get benefits for the rest of your life?
Great question. And here's the answer. You know, I talked about disability in the beginning of our program. I said some individuals are disabled forever. Many more have a disability that lasts for some period of time. If it's a year or longer, it could be 3 years, 5 years. Some people do get better. So Social Security does continuing disability reviews, but there are individuals who will be receiving benefits for the rest of their lives. That doesn't apply to everyone. And Social Security has many incentives and programs for individuals who can return to work to either do that part-time for some period of time and to test their ability to work. You don't just lose your benefits because you start trying to work. So that's the great part about disability. So the fact is that depends. You may get benefits for the rest of your life if you continue to be disabled. We're there for you. But if you don't continue to be disabled, the benefits could end. Great question. I really think that a lot of people worry whether the benefits will continue. But like retirement benefits, people get those as long as they are with us. And as long as you are disabled, we will continue to pay you your benefit. Thank you. And great question, Josephine. But guess what? We had a person who's denied for disability. Seems that all these questions are disability questions today. You know, people like disability. So let's take a look. I just got denied for disability. I sent in all my medical records and medications. My doctor said I was disabled and even sent Social Security a letter saying that I was. But Social Security said no. How does Social Security decide who's disabled? Josephine?
This is a great question. And, you know, when you apply for Social Security disability benefits, we ask for lots of information, such as your disabling condition, the doctors that you've seen, what tests you have taken, the dates of the tests that were taken, as well as your medications. What medications are you on? So all of this information is gathered. Your Social Security representative will help you enter in all this information into your application, or you can apply online at socialsecurity.gov and enter this information in the comfort of your own home, because you can certainly apply for disability benefits online in the comfort of your home as well. Once you enter in all that information, Social Security then sends that information over, that application over to the Determination Center, where we have medical experts, because here at Social Security, we don't make that decision in our offices. We send that application over to our Determination Center for medical experts to make that decision. So medical experts review your information and then they make that decision on your case. And that's how we decide, along with all the other factors and requirements. And for more information in regards to this process, you can visit us at socialsecurity.gov. We have lots of information in regards to disability benefits, retirement benefits, all the benefits Social Security has to offer. We have an abundance of information online. Daniel?
No, great information. And once again, Social Security is with you. And if you're disabled, apply for those benefits. I think, though, that we we need to move to a question that's not about disability or SSI. So let's talk a little bit about spousal benefits, because these are good and we definitely want to give you a variety of questions and information. So here's one, and I can ask it of you, Josephine, regarding a spouse. I get $555 per month in retirement benefits. Fortunately, I married a rich lady last month who gets $2,400. Now that we are together, I heard that I can get half of what she gets per month. How soon can I get the money? How does that affect her benefit?
Wow, this is a great spousal question right here. So somebody married, or Daniel, you married a rich lady last month. And in order for you to receive benefits, you will need to have at least been married a year to receive those benefits. In addition to that, your own benefit, you must be at least age 62 or older. And that's to receive spousal benefits based off of retirement. And you also, your own benefit, but must be less than half of your spouse's benefit in order for you to be eligible for benefits. So for example, Daniel, say your own benefit based off of your own work was $1,000 per month. Let's say we fast forward time and you are now full retirement age. And let's say your full retirement age is age 66. And so your own benefit based off of your own work is $1,000. But let's say this beautiful rich lady that you marry, her own benefit is $2,000 per month. Now, after you've been married to her for a year and you are as a spouse eligible for benefits, she starts to draw benefits off of her own record, but she's eligible for $2,000 a month. We said you're eligible for $1,000 a month. Half of her benefit is $1,000. You already are receiving $1,000 per month. So there's no money left for you to draw spousal benefits. So you just receive your own benefit. But now let's say your own benefit is $500 a month. And let's say your beautiful spouse, her benefit is $2,000. We'll keep her at $2,000 per month. And now half of her benefit is $1,000. Since you receive $500 a month, Social Security will bump you up another $500 to put you at that half that she received, which then you would receive $1,000 a month. But your spouse may say, you know what, Daniel, I love you and all, but I don't know if I want you drawing benefits off of my record, because is that going to make my benefit go down because you're drawing off of my record? And what Social Security would tell your spouse, Daniel, is that no, when you work and pay into Social Security FICA taxes, you're not only working for yourself, but you're working for family. So Daniel, you can receive benefits off of your spouse's record without that affecting your spouse's record and what she receives per month. Anything to add to that, Daniel?
That's great information, and marrying a rich lady has got to be a smart business move. So it's always good. And notice once again, Social Security is seeking to pay you the highest possible benefit. And I know in a world where everyone is always trying to cut some benefit, give you less, find out which is the lower of the two, that's not the case with Social Security. When we say we're there for you throughout life's journey, we mean all the way to the end. And one thing about these spousal benefits and retirement benefits and disability benefits, they never run out. I could live to be 135, 150, 200 years old. If I am retired, my benefit keeps going as long as I do. Great question about the spousal benefit. Marvelous. All right, so let's move on.
We have a survivor's benefit, or a survivor's question now, Daniel, and I'm going to ask this one to you. My daughter is getting a check because her father passed away since she was 12. She is 17 now. They told me that she has to get her own check. I don't see why they have to change things.
And you know what? This is a payee question disguised as a survivor benefits question. Pretty clever, huh? All right. Well, here's how this works. We at Social Security know that there are millions and millions of people, you've probably heard of some of them, who don't get their own benefit checks paid to them directly. Sometimes it's because they're minor children, right? You don't want little Johnny spending his whole $1,000 benefit on ice cream or toys, even though Johnny would probably like that a lot. All right, By the same token, some people have limitations, Alzheimer's, dementias, or whatever disability they may have that may or may not mean that they are not in the best position right now to receive benefits paid directly to them. So we have a system of representative payees. However, there's only one reason why we pay your benefit check to your friend or relative who's close to you as opposed to you. And that would be if, because of age or infirmary or for some other reason, that you are not capable of managing your own benefits right now. I say right now because it's often temporary. Some people get better or in better condition. I have many people who became very ill, went to a hospital, then their spouse or their child becomes their payee, manages their benefits for them. They get back up with superhuman strength and they're ready. They come into the office, we give them their check back. And here's why. We put as few people between one person and their payments as possible. We don't want any trouble, right? So the best way is we try to pay you directly. In this case, you have someone who is now coming to an age where Social Security is able to pay them directly. And even though this parent, mother, because the father passed away, is probably doing a great job, and this is not something that they've done wrong, legally, once you reach that age in which we can pay you, then we do pay you directly. And I think that this mom has probably instilled some really good values and taught her daughter how to be wise with the money, so there won't be any issue. So that's why they have to change things. Great question. Josephine, anything?
Great answer. Great answer. But we're going to go ahead and move on to the benefit statement, Mr. Summer, because this right here is a super, super frequent question that we receive. Many people wonder, why haven't I received my Social Security statement in the mail the last few years? Will I ever get one again? And this is going to lead us into that My Social Security account information. But I'm going to let you answer this, Mr. Summer, while I get us into that My Social Security slide.
Well, I better go quick because this is going to be our last question. So you remember when they were sending those statements, this is what you'll get. This is what your spouse will get. This is what your survivors will get. I think that's one of the greatest things that was ever done. But there were budgetary changes in about 2015. And also technology moved ahead a bit, Josephine. So those Social Security statements, we used to send them to people right around their birthday. Probably not the most expensive gift they got, but a very useful one. But guess what? We can now get them online, and you don't have to wait till your birthday. You could have them anytime you want. It's at your fingertips, and you can do a lot more than that, Josephine. So that is why people don't get them. Now, there are select people, like say you're over a quote unquote certain age, we'll start sending them to you just as a reminder of Social Security for you to keep as you approach retirement age. But we want you to be able to access them anytime you want them, not just when we send them to you. So Josephine, talk a little bit more about what can be done online, because you will get one of those Social Security statements again, my friend, especially if you're after age 50, is it? Or 60. But remember, you don't have to wait that long.
Right about that, Mr. Summer. You do not have to wait that long. If you're like me and you want to see your statement like yesterday, this is what you do. You go online, you create your My Social Security account. You go ahead and you enter in a username and a password. It's also going to ask you, before you get to that username and password section, to verify some identity questions, because we want to make sure that it is you that is creating your My Social Security account. So you're going to be asked some very specific personal identity questions before you get online. Once you have answered those questions 100% correctly, then you'll have the opportunity to create a username and a password. The system is also going to ask you to enter in an email address or a cell phone. So that way, every time you log in with your username and a password, you're also going to be receiving a unique identifying code to your either cell phone number or your email address, whichever method you prefer to receive this code, you're going to receive this code. And it's always going to be different. And that's to ensure that every time you log in, it is you that is logging into your account. Once you get your account, you're able to do things such as view your statement. You're able to request it online. You're able to request a proof of benefits online. So what you receive every month, if you're receiving Social Security benefits, you'll be able to request a benefit verification letter. If you don't receive benefits yet, you'll be able to request a letter that says that you currently are not receiving benefits. You can also request a replacement Medicare card. You can sign up and change direct deposit information, change your address, telephone number, and request a replacement Social Security card. Earlier on in this presentation, we talked about how you can request a replacement Social Security card online, and this is how you do it. You go ahead and you click on Social Security card replacement, follow the prompts, and you're going to get your card in the mail in about 5 to 10 business days. Many of you may be wondering, well, how can I do business with Social Security right now during COVID-19? And here we are here to tell you today, Social Security has remained open. We have stayed open. We're just working in a different way. You can apply for benefits online at www.socialsecurity.gov, or you can call us and we can take applications over the phone, or we can answer any of your questions over the phone if you call us at 1-800-772-1213. You can also visit our field office locator on our website and enter in your zip code, and you can get in touch with a local representative to answer any of your questions that you may have. But of course, we are at the end of our presentation here, but before we end it completely, Mr. Summer here is going to tell you about scams so that you're aware and you do not become victims.
Oh, I sure will. You know, even though I work for the Social Security Administration and it's my job to tell people about scammers and to avoid them, scammers call me and they ask me for my Social Security number, Josephine. I've had them tell me that I'm in trouble with the law. There are these robotic voice calls that I get. And you know what? They tell me I'm going to be arrested. I want everyone to understand one thing. They're all scammers. They're phony. Most of them, they don't know your name. So how do they know that they're calling someone who's in trouble? As far as being arrest or threats of indictments, guess what? There's no badge here. Josephine, we are not law enforcement. We never do that. So if you hear a robot voice or recording, you know right away that's fake. It's not us because we only have live callers. And normally we don't call you unless you've done business with us recently. Out of the clear blue sky, Social Security doesn't call one of the more than 300 million people here. It just doesn't happen. So hang up on those people. And you know what? You can report them to help us prevent someone who might not be as savvy as you are. Sometimes our baby boomers are very polite. They are from that greatest generation that told us, you say please and thank you. And you know what? They want to be helpful, especially when they hear the name Social Security. We're a good organization and people are using our good name to do their bad things. So call call the 1-800-269-0271 or go online at the oig.ssa.gov. That OIG stands for Office of the Inspector General. So we can shut them down because you never know. The next call that they send out might be to one of your friends or relatives or someone who might get caught. So let's stop them now. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Daniel and Josephine, for sharing such valuable information with us today. Those who would like to learn even more about Social Security can register for the 2-part Social Security series, which is coming up next month on July 19th and 26th from noon to 1 p.m. The series is open to adults of all ages. Just be sure to register online by noon, July 16th, using the link posted in the comments. Once again, thank you everyone for watching, and thank you to Daniel and Josephine.
Thank you, everyone. Have a beautiful week.